What if I told you that Blake Lively has been keeping a massive secret and Justin Baldoni just leaked the proof? This isn't just gossip. This could be the end of her picture-perfect marriage to Ryan Reynolds. Fans are shocked. The internet is in meltdown mode. And the evidence? It's wilder than anyone expected. Secret on-set tension, flirty messages, and now a leaked bombshell that changes everything. Could Blake really have betrayed Ryan? And why is Justin speaking out now? You won't believe what's been uncovered, so don't even think about clicking away. At first, it just looked like another Hollywood romance, two talented actors bringing a beloved novel to life. But when the cameras started rolling, something felt different. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's chemistry in It Ends With Us wasn't just good. It was undeniably intense, too intense. Fans couldn't shake the feeling that what happened on screen wasn't just acting. Lively, known for keeping her personal life separate from her work, made an unusual decision. Instead of relying on an intimacy coordinator, she insisted on taking full control of her romantic scenes, a move that immediately raised eyebrows. Typically, A-listers stick to industry norms when filming steamy moments, keeping everything professional and choreographed. But this time, Blake wanted to do things her way. And her reasoning? Well, that's where things get strange. Lively later claimed there simply wasn't an intimacy coordinator available, but insiders quickly debunked that excuse. In fact, Baldoni had reportedly pushed for one from the start. So why would Blake decline? Was it just about creative control or something more personal? The mystery deepened when fans looked closer at her acting style. Unlike method actors who transform for a role, Lively is famous for playing characters that feel like extensions of her real personality. And in It Ends With Us, she didn't just step into Lily Bloom's shoes. She wore her own clothes, brought in personal items, and fully embodied the character. If her performance felt eerily real, maybe that's because it was. Even Baldoni's approach fueled speculation. His role as Ryle Kincaid, an undeniably magnetic, intense, and passionate character, required deep emotional commitment. And as he disappeared into the role, Blake's connection with him seemed to grow stronger. On set, the tension was palpable. The chemistry wasn't just visible, it was electrifying. But here's where things take a turn. Because this wasn't just a passionate performance, something else was happening behind the scenes. And when cryptic social media posts started surfacing, fans couldn't ignore the signs anymore. That resurfaced social media exchange was just the beginning. Because as fans started piecing things together, they realized something even more bizarre. Blake Lively wasn't just playing Lily Bloom in It Ends With Us, she was becoming her. Lively has never been known as a method actor. Unlike stars who completely transform for a role, she tends to play characters that feel like extensions of her real personality. But this time, something was different. She wasn't just slipping into character, she was bringing pieces of her real life into the performance. From the moment filming started, Lively made a bold choice. She refused to wear a traditional costume. Instead of relying on a wardrobe team, she handpicked outfits straight from her own closet. Every sweater, every dress, every accessory, all hers. And that wasn't the only thing she personalized. Set designers even incorporated items from her actual home, making the line between fiction and reality nearly impossible to distinguish. It wasn't just about aesthetics either. Lively admitted she felt deeply connected to Lily's struggles, describing the role as one of the most emotional experiences of her career. But was she simply getting into character, or was something else pulling her in?
You can't just put me in any clothes and give me any words and have me step in and transform. And I used to be very insecure about that. I used to feel like an imposter because I would watch actors who were just shapeshifters. They could do it in any circumstance. And then I realized that half of the actors that I admire most were people who were more filmmakers, or people who had to get their hands in the storytelling and the writing and the creating and the environment, and people that I respected so much. And I was like, oh, okay, there's two different categories, and I'm in this category, and that's okay. So once I started embracing that and leaning into it and not feeling embarrassed about it, I think I was able to do the best work.
And then there was Justin Baldoni. Baldoni took an entirely different approach to the film, immersing himself in the intensity and charm of Ryle Kincaid. His performance was methodical, calculated, but undeniably magnetic. As he stepped into the role of Lily's love interest, something changed. Insiders say Lively's on-screen connection with Baldoni felt raw, almost too real. And that chemistry? It didn't disappear when the cameras stopped rolling. But here's where things get even more interesting. Because this wasn't just a deep acting transformation. Blake's real-life circumstances made the timing even more complicated. She had just given birth months before taking on the role, diving straight from motherhood into one of the steamiest, most emotionally charged performances of her career. The transition was intense, and some believe it left her emotionally vulnerable in ways she wasn't expecting. And that emotional intensity, it didn't go unnoticed, especially not by her husband Ryan Reynolds, because when people started picking up on her undeniable connection with Baldoni, Reynolds did too. And that's when things started spiraling fast. If Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's on-screen chemistry was raising eyebrows, what happened off set took the speculation to a whole new level. Because just when fans fans thought it was all in their heads, the internet found something they couldn't ignore. A resurfaced Instagram exchange between Lively and Baldoni suddenly didn't seem so innocent. Under one of Baldoni's workout posts, Blake had jokingly commented, "Amazing, now try it pregnant." Baldoni's response, "You win." At first glance, it seemed harmless, but context is everything. Blake rarely engages in public banter with male co-stars unless it's strictly promotional. So why did this feel different? Was it just friendly teasing, or was there an unspoken connection playing out in real time? And then, fans noticed something even stranger. Ryan Reynolds was nowhere to be found. For a couple known for their playful public social media exchanges, Ryan's silence was deafening. No witty comebacks, no teasing replies, just radio silence. And it wasn't just for this post. Fans realized Ryan had gone completely quiet on Blake's Instagram for weeks. No likes, no comments, nothing. But instead of addressing the rumors, Ryan did something no one expected. Ryan Reynolds' unexpected response sent fans into a frenzy. But what they didn't realize was that the tension between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni had already been boiling beneath the surface. And once the cameras stopped rolling, things only got worse. At first, it seemed like Blake and Justin had great professional chemistry. But behind the scenes, that was a different story. Whispers from the set revealed that Lively and Baldoni were clashing, and it all started with the intimate scenes. Normally, actors work with an intimacy coordinator to ensure boundaries are respected during romantic moments. But as we know, Blake insisted on handling those scenes herself. While some saw it as a bold artistic choice, others weren't so sure. Why push back so hard on an industry standard? And why did Baldoni, who had wanted an intimacy coordinator, suddenly back down? Then came the wardrobe issue. When leaked photos from the set surfaced online, fans weren't exactly kind. Some criticized Blake's outfits, calling them unflattering. And when Justin made a single offhand remark about the wardrobe situation, Blake was furious. She reportedly felt he had undermined her, suggesting that her appearance wasn't right for the role. But that was nothing compared to what came next. According to insiders, Blake accused Justin of lingering too long during their romantic scenes, claiming he stretched moments out longer than necessary. But here's where things get messy. It was Blake herself who had choreographed these scenes, instructing Baldoni on how to move, how to hold her, how to make it feel natural. So why was she suddenly flipping the script?
I feel like more details are unraveling as we go, and this is not in your favor, Billy. I
don't even like the movie.
You love it.
You
don't like it.
Then the most shocking accusation of all. Blake claimed Baldoni invaded her privacy in a moment she would never forget. And when the truth behind that accusation surfaced, everything changed. The truth behind Blake Lively's most shocking accusation had finally surfaced, but it wasn't what anyone expected. She had claimed that Justin Baldoni violated her privacy in a moment she would never forget, walking into her trailer while she was topless and breastfeeding. The claim was explosive, sparking outrage among fans and industry insiders alike. If true, it could have ended Baldoni's career in an instant. But then, the receipts dropped. Leaked messages between Blake and Justin told an entirely different story. It wasn't Baldoni who had barged in uninvited. Blake had invited him. They had scheduled a script rehearsal, and when Baldoni messaged that he'd stop by after finishing his lunch, she never objected. In fact, sources close to the production claimed that Blake had been the one insisting on extra rehearsals, wanting every scene to feel as raw and real as possible. So if she knew he was coming, why twist the story? That's when people started asking the real question. Was this about revenge? Days before, Blake had accused Baldoni of lingering too long in their romantic scenes, but insiders knew she was the one who had choreographed those very moments. She had dictated every movement, every touch, every glance. So why the sudden change of heart? And more importantly, why turn it into a scandal? Some speculated that Baldoni had unknowingly crossed an unspoken boundary, not on set, but off. Had Blake misread their chemistry? Had she expected something more from him? And when she didn't get the reaction she was hoping for, had she decided to flip the script, turning an innocent moment into something damning? And if so, had she done this before? Because this wasn't the first time Blake's on-set relationships blurred the lines between professional and personal. And when people started digging into her past, what they uncovered made everything even messier. The deeper people looked, the clearer the pattern became. Blake Lively's tense dynamic with Justin Baldoni wasn't the first time lines had blurred between professional and personal. In fact, this wasn't just a one-time controversy. It was something that had followed her throughout her career. It all started during her Gossip Girl days. Fans loved the on-screen romance between Serena van der Woodsen and Dan Humphrey, but behind the scenes, Blake and Penn Badgley's real-life relationship was just as dramatic. The two started dating as their careers took off, and for a while, they seemed inseparable. But by 2010, just before the show ended, they called it quits. And that's when things got interesting.
I understand you guys have known each other a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since you were 8?
No, 11.
No, 11. I was like,
He thinks it was less than it was. He thinks it was 8 years. It was definitely 9.
Yeah.
Years ago that we knew each other. It was very passionate, but I lost a lot of friends because of it.
Yeah. So, you know, that was hard to deal with, but I think that it's
Because almost immediately after, Blake was linked to another co-star, Green Lantern. This was supposed to be Blake's big Hollywood breakthrough, but what really stole the spotlight was her off-screen chemistry with Ryan Reynolds. The only problem? Ryan was still married to Scarlett Johansson.
You guys are so beautiful to watch that I was just like,
Well, hello. Points next to her. You go out. No, that's all you get today, though. That's it.
I know, I can't believe you.
That's it.
Like,
No,
never
just that.
compliments
Yeah,
off
no.
camera,
Yeah.
not so nice.
No, never. Never.
Gotta keep her grounded.
No, yeah, absolutely. I've seen her go into a rage spiral. Oh my God. And most people, it's violence. For her, it's just baking.
Rumors swirled that Blake and Ryan's connection had started before his marriage officially ended, with body language and subtle moments suggesting their bond went beyond the script. By 2011, Ryan had filed for divorce, and just a few months later, he and Blake went public as a couple. Some believe their relationship had been brewing for far longer than they let on, raising questions about whether history was repeating itself with Baldoni. And this wasn't the only time Blake had been caught up in whispers of on-set chemistry gone too far. While filming The Town with Ben Affleck, Blake's presence on set reportedly made Jennifer Garner uneasy. Insiders claimed Blake and Ben acted like lovesick teens, with secretive conversations and flirty energy that didn't go unnoticed. Some even suspected an emotional affair, a claim that neither ever addressed, but one that stuck with fans long after filming wrapped. Then came the speculation surrounding Justin Timberlake. There were whispers that Blake had set her sights on him, but unlike her other rumored romances, this time, the feelings may not have been mutual. Some sources claimed Blake, feeling slighted, tried to flip the narrative, making it seem like Justin was the one pursuing her. And if that was true, it raised a very important question. Was history repeating itself yet again? Because if Blake had a pattern of on-set romances, where did that leave Ryan Reynolds? Hollywood's golden couple had always seemed untouchable, but behind the scenes, something was shifting. Ryan wasn't just watching anymore, he was about to step in, and when he did, everything changed. Ryan Reynolds had been watching everything unfold. The rumors, the online speculation, the whispers about Blake and Justin Baldoni, and he had remained silent. Until now. At first, Ryan tried to brush it off. After all, he and Blake had built their brand on playful public banter. But this wasn't funny anymore. Something about the way Blake was being discussed, the way her connection with Baldoni was being dissected, felt different. And it didn't help that Blake wasn't exactly shutting the rumors down. So Ryan did what no one expected. He showed up. Insiders claim Reynolds made an unannounced visit to the set of It Ends With Us, and the energy shifted immediately. Normally, when Ryan appears on one of Blake's sets, it's a lighthearted moment. Fans are used to seeing them joke around and support each other. But this time, there were no jokes, no cheeky Instagram stories, no public display of affection, just tense energy that didn't go unnoticed. And then, according to reports, he pulled Justin aside. What exactly was said between them remains a mystery, but sources say it wasn't a friendly chat. Witnesses described the exchange as cold and uncomfortable, with Ryan making it clear that he wasn't amused by the way things were playing out. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because after that conversation, something changed. Baldoni, who had been actively engaging in press interviews and promotional content, suddenly took a step back. His presence in the film's marketing seemed to fade. Some even speculated that Ryan had issued a quiet warning, one that Baldoni took seriously. And if Ryan's message wasn't already clear, his next move left no room for doubt. Ryan Reynolds had made his move, but Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni weren't backing down. In fact, this was just the beginning. What started as whispers of on-set tension and rumored betrayals quickly escalated into something much bigger. Legal battles, leaked footage, career-damaging accusations. Hollywood wasn't just watching the drama unfold anymore, it was now a full-blown war. It all started when Blake formally filed a complaint against Baldoni, claiming she had been mistreated and manipulated during filming. According to her, Justin had overstepped boundaries, both professionally and personally, and the production team had done nothing to protect her. The complaint sent shockwaves through the industry, but Baldoni wasn't about to stay silent. Instead of fading into the background, he fired back with a staggering $400 million defamation lawsuit, accusing Blake of fabricating claims to damage his reputation. His legal team insisted they had proof, including behind-the-scenes footage that, according to them, told a completely different story. And then the leaks started. Mysterious clips from the set began circulating online, showing uncut moments between Blake and Justin that didn't align with her accusations. Some of these clips seemed to suggest that Blake had been the one pushing for more intensity in their scenes, while others raised questions about what was really happening behind closed doors. Suddenly, the public's perception started shifting. Then came the lawsuits against the media. Baldoni's team accused certain outlets of siding with Blake and spreading false narratives, going so far as to file a $250 million defamation suit against the New York Times. This wasn't just about his career anymore. This was about reputation, legacy, and survival. But here's where things took an unexpected turn, because in the middle of this legal firestorm, someone else entered the battle. Someone with the power to change everything. The lawsuits were just the beginning, because once Hollywood's biggest power players got involved, this wasn't just a battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni anymore. It became a war over influence, reputation, and control. As legal teams went head-to-head and leaked footage painted conflicting narratives, the industry was forced to pick sides. Some believed Blake's accusations, pointing to the history of women being silenced in Hollywood. Others saw Baldoni as the real victim, arguing that he was being taken down by carefully crafted allegations. And then came the career fallout. Blake, once seen as an untouchable A-lister, suddenly found herself in an unfamiliar position. Hollywood wasn't rushing to defend her. Major studios began to distance themselves, wary of being dragged into the controversy. Upcoming projects that once seemed like a done deal put on hold. Even her closest allies in the industry, including A-list friends, remained suspiciously quiet. Baldoni, on the other hand, wasn't walking away unscathed either. The lawsuit alone was damaging enough, but his reputation as a Hollywood good guy was hanging by a thread. Brands and sponsors hesitated, and insiders questioned whether his career could survive if more evidence surfaced against him. And then, just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, something happened that no one saw coming. Because in Hollywood, careers can survive scandals, but they rarely survive the truth. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Blake Lively is being unfairly targeted? Or is there more to this story than meets the eye? And what about Justin Baldoni? Was he caught in the crossfire, or is there something he's not telling us? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.